Welcome everybody. Welcome to the First Fruits Stock Club podcast. Guys, thank you for joining me. Thank you for everyone giving me a few minutes of your time. I know how busy the world is today. It's a lot going on. So I appreciate you guys giving me a few minutes of your time. I have one question for you today. What if you had a time machine, right? And you could go back in time. Would you do some things differently? Would you make a few different decisions? And let's be more specific. What if you had a financial time machine? All right. And you could go back. Would you invest a little bit more? Would you make a few different decisions? We all would. I would. I know I definitely would. But everyone has access to a time machine, a financial time machine, the stock market. It is a financial time machine. The stock market says, look, I understand, right? Everyone was discussing about how much money they made, and you didn't get into it, right? You weren't up on you weren't interested in investing. You were busy doing other things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you another chance, and I'm going to take the prices that were a year ago. I'm going to give you those prices again, right? And you said, look, man, I knew it. Only if I knew. So this time, okay, this time you can make a different opportunity. The stock market is giving you another opportunity. It's come up. You're up a bat again. You struck out, but you're up a bat again. What will you do this time? What will you do this time? Will you make the same decision? Well, I didn't save enough. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Find a way. Find a way to invest, because the truth of the matter is, it doesn't. The stock market will not wait for anyone. Doesn't wait for you. Doesn't wait for me. With this opportunities, it gives you opportunity. You either seize the opportunity or you lose it. So that's why I think we're here today. Thank you for joining me again. First Fruit Stock Club. Today, it's a lot of information going on today. And one has been, of course, Donald Trump's first 100 days in office. So we're going to look at the top stocks that have and their performance since Donald Trump's first 100 days in office. So let's go to the disclosure. So the first stock up is Philip Morris. I heard this crazy story a while back. Philip Morris cigarette company. They sell cigarettes. They also sell those new vaping devices. But I heard this story a while back, and it was basically two guys on a plane. One of them was a farmer. So the plane was getting ready to land, and they were flying over this farmland. And the farmer looks to the guy sitting next to him. They had a long conversation during the trip. He says, "Look," he said, "I bet you do not know who owns all that land over there, which consists of tobacco leaves." The guy was like, "Who?" He said, "Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby owns all of these." I thought it was an interesting story. So let's look at Philip Morris. All right, let's look at the performance of Philip Morris. This company's been around for a long time. It's been around for a long time, but let's look at the chart. Man, So since, of course, the inauguration was January 20th, I tried to get it close as I could, but uh, we're talking about $40 plus, right? And even more than that, because it at the beginning of the year it actually declined. So $40 plus. I thought that was I thought that was something. All right, the next stock we're gonna talk about. Next stock we're gonna go to is Dollar General. Man, Dollar General. And the interesting about Dollar General is that usually during tough economic times and inflation, some of these convenience stores who focus on low prices. Dollar General, of course, is not a Dollar General anymore, but they usually do well in this type of environment. So Dollar General is another one. Man, look at it. Started out at 68, and now I think as of yesterday, I posted this. It's at $93.69. Whew. But I was looking at the financials. They do not have a lot of cash on their books. Now, companies like this, sometimes they don't have a lot of cash because they have a high inventory turnover, such as like Walmart, right? But Dollar General's been killing it. VeriSign, the company, basically what they focus on is domain registry. So just like a GoDaddy, who went public. Man, I think GoDaddy's in the it's in S&P 500. I have to verify that, but VeriSign, yeah. So they demand, but look at this chart. I mean, this is a thing of beauty, right? Two started out the year at 209. Now it's at 282. Man, all right, and two more. Man, man. Of course, Netflix. Netflix is another one. It's been on a rampage. Oh man. So and then Palantir. It's been very volatile, but this is one. This has been a very popular stock. Okay, Palantir is basically an AI uh, uh, software company. Basically, what they do is they go in to governments, mostly it's the Western world, go into government, and it creates efficiency through their software. So making things more efficient in regards to the different tasks that have to be done. All right. So okay, so cool. So man, these are the top stocks. These stocks have been performing really well. You might want to think about adding them to your portfolio. Um, of course, this is not investment advice. I can't say that I like all these, and one of them I am adding to the club, and we're going to probably do some options on one of those plays. All right, so the next thing is the grapevine. All right, so when we're when you're investing, there's really four parts. There's one is the profit motive. The second thing we always have to be aware of is market communication. Like, what are people saying? What is the communication that's going on during the market? And because this affects communication, can be create an emotional response. Can create high emotions and low emotions, right? And with the emotional response, can create stock prices that go up, that advance and go to the roof, or it can create a decline. So communication in the stock market is very, very important. You have to understand and listen to what's going on and what are people saying doing well. So these are some of the topics that have been going on in regards to the stock market. So, man, the NASDAQ for the month of April destroyed everybody. The NASDAQ is on a comeback. Of course, man, the beginning of the year was rough for the NASDAQ, but it's been coming back, and tech is coming back. Man, so I think this is a good spot to start really looking at. I mean, really, the bottom of the market is always the best spot, but people usually get scared. So I was definitely able to pick up some very good some stocks, especially last month. But there's still a lot of stocks that are trading below their all-time highs, 10, 20, 30% on discount. Like I said, that time machine is going back in time. It's giving you an opportunity to get in. So, but it won't wait for you, okay? It won't wait for you, and you have to plan for it. So Tesla board has recently opened a search for the new CEO for Elon Musk. I mean, I've heard a few things about it, but he says his duties with Doge is coming to an end, and he's going to come back to maybe running Tesla. I mean, he still owns a few different companies. We'll see that is, but Tesla's been on a tear lately. From after, and the crazy is like the time machine. It's like, even at their earnings, it reported like a lot 70% loss of income, but the stock is still up. I don't get it. I mean, I do get it because so the stock market assumed that if it does bad, then he'll come back and start working, or the board to get more active and to try to influence him to make some different decisions. Either that's getting another CEO to come in, or having him just come back and being more focused and doing it with the car. GDP, gross domestic product. Gross domestic product is how the metric of how the United States generates income, right? Their gross domestic product. These are all the products and services that are sold to the United States. And one thing you always needed to remember, that 70% of GDP is consumer spending, okay? Consumers make up 70%. The 30% is like business spending, business investment, government spending, business investment, and imports and exports. They make up the other 30%. So what happens, that's why you may hear a lot of news about what the consumer is doing, what the payrolls are doing. Are people employed? What's the employment rate? It's because the consumer makes up 70% of our economy, people buying things. And there's a whole different response or some information that I could give on that topic, but not today, another day. But it shrinks for the first time in 3 years. So that's very interesting. And another thing, so CEOs often have earnings calls, right? So on these earnings calls, they usually discuss, look, how the company's doing, how it's going to performing, and their expectations for the future. So it's crazy. AI is everywhere. So what they do is, because these calls are long and they're scripted, and you can either read them, but a lot of people listen to me, and as shareholders will listen to and see what the CEOs saying, especially fund managers. Okay, so what they'll do is, what has happened is they've used AI to find out what words are being used the most, right? And so what words are being increased. So there's been 132% increase, which is expected. Mention of tariffs, and a 20% increase in uncertainty. So that tells you that these tariffs are really bringing uncertainty to these CEOs, and they really don't know how to forecast their earnings. Remember, the stock market is a forward-looking mechanism. Okay, so they basically determine they have to look out into the future, take the information that they have, and they'll decide like what they think the company earnings picture is going to look out to the end of the year. And that's very, very important for investors. That's why some earnings cause stocks just plummet. Of course, they miss their earnings, but also they give guidance for the future, and that guidance doesn't look good. All right, so that's the new segment. Heard it through the grapevine. So the next segment that I have, this one is I call the stability report, right? Having a portion of your portfolio as being stable, right? Because when we look at growth, when we look at companies, and as you can see, as you experience, if you're an investor and you invest in the market, and you looked at your 401k, you've seen that the prices, especially in growth and all equities, the prices have declined in your portfolios that you own. Okay, so when you're designing a portfolio, you need to have a stable portion of your portfolio. And what I like, and I mean, it's part of my strategy that I do for the club, for the investment, the First Fruit Stock Club, is to have dividend stocks, right? And not only dividend, I love monthly dividend payers, right? And we take these dividends and we keep it in cash, and we look for opportunities in options. So we take dividends and turn dividends to option contracts, and option contracts back into dividends and long-term portfolio. All right. So in the stability report, let's look at this. And so dividends have historically made up 30 to 50% of the S&P's total return, depending on the time period and market conditions. Okay, so 30 to 50% of the S&P total return has been for dividends. So dividends should be a part of your strategy. All right, dividends should be a part of your strategy. You should have, I say have an account strictly for dividends, strictly to generate income for you. Okay, just think about this, right? You go to work every day. The companies work for you. All these people at the company, they work for you. You are owner. And they say, and all those people and all those minds and all the talents that they have, they generate income using all of that. And you earn income from that, from those people. You earn income from that. So I just believe strongly that having dividend and also increase your monthly income, increase your annual income, right? It helps, but also helps smooths out your portfolio. One of the companies I like is O Realty. I cut off the symbol, but the symbol is O. Okay. O Realty pays a 5.57% dividend, but it pays the dividend monthly. So you multiply 5.57 times the 57.29, you get an amount. I think it's paying like 27 cents a share, right? Per month. And O Realty is a REIT, and what they do is they own a lot of the properties that, especially one of the number one tenants is 7-Eleven. And I don't think 7-Eleven is going out of business anytime soon, but you never know. But 7-Eleven, but they're also, some of the things they also started to invest in warehouses where they are going to create these data centers. Like data centers are everywhere, and so they also are investing in that. So I think this is a great it's a great dividend play. Just look at it. If you got in April, look, I've had it. I've had this company for a while, but it was a big opportunity in April at 54, which is $5. It's not a big deal, but I think it was a great opportunity. I think it's a stock that you can have an account. Now, in the club, I have some dividend accelerators, okay? And, you know, my goal is to get you to $800 to $1,000 a month, and I can get you there, right? I can get you there. So, you know, nothing's guaranteed, but that's my goal. All right. Could you use an extra $800 or $1,000 a month? Right. All right. And then you grow from there. Start at 1,000, 2,000, and you're not working to get that. People are working to give you this. Right. You don't have to own a business for it. You don't have to collect. You're not collecting rents. You just invest, sacrifice, taking a portion of your paycheck, putting it in, and investing it. All right, so the last section is the foundation report. And let me tell you, what I try to do in this portion is to give you some financial vocabulary, right? We're going to increase your financial vocabulary. And the most important financial word today is net income. It's a simple word. It's basically after the company pays all its expenses, it's the income you have left over. In Alphabet, Google, the parent company of Google, holds the position of the most profitable company globally with a net income at $110 billion over the past 12 months. Man, you might want to add that one to your portfolio. $110 billion. That's something else. Okay. So, man, I always stress and I always tell you, guys, think about joining the club, the First Fruit Stock Club. I'm actually going to the meeting right after this to meet with the club. And I'm going to have some new picks that I'm putting in. The market is starting to heat up. Do not get left out. The time machine has gone back. Do not get left out, okay? And don't you sit back at the end of the year, man, I wish I could have got on that. And the thing about it is you need an accountability partner because you're not going to do it by yourself. You're going to get busy, right? You need somebody to, and what I do in the club is definitely to support everyone and make sure everyone is moving forward. And that's what you want as an investor, to move forward. Basically, my goal is to increase your monthly and annual income through dividends. Okay, we're going to develop a dividend portfolio. I know everybody say, well, you know, dividends take no. Come to my club. I'm going to show you how we can accelerate those dividends. And we take dividends to stock options, and then we're going to accelerate even further, right? And then we're going to safely take those the option growth. We can grow 150, 30%. You can get those, right? Of course, nothing is guaranteed. None of this is guaranteed, but it can happen. And then we put them in our long-term growth, which we put it in ETFs and stock picks. Okay, so look, guys, it's always a pleasure, man. Join the First Fruit Stock Club. Come see us. We're growing. I'm probably going to get out and start touring soon, going to different churches. Look, so if you are looking for a speaker, okay, if you're looking for a speaker, someone to come in, if you have an organization, you want someone to come in and explain to you what's really going on in the market, I'm going to have my speaker website up soon. So until then, guys, have a good one.